welcome to the WeekNGeek, your new comic preview for May 11th, 2011. I'm Mike Ortiz.
I'm the Chris Brown.
So what you got this week?
I think we've got some pretty fun things this week. I'm going to, as we'll do the same thing we did last week, where we'll do our big heavy pick at the end.
Make you wait a little bit.
Absolutely. So I'm going to lead off with Archie Comics is doing a first issue of Mega Man.
Is this the first time we've talked about Archie?
I think it is the first time we've gotten an Archie in there. We've never talked Sonic, we've never talked Archie, we've never talked any other stuff. Udon was doing kind of a more adult Mega Man, I think, and then now Archie's got a license, and they got what looks like a fun little book here. I've had that poster hanging in the window for a couple months now, and people were getting real excited about it, so I guess they got me excited about it too. So I'm going to read a little Mega Man, kind of looking forward to that. Then we got Black Panther, Man Without Fear. I think this book's been pretty good. As it's going on, I'm liking the storytelling. I'm wondering more and more, and thinking that less and less, this is the T'Challa that I know. I mean, I know it's supposed to be, but he's acting so out of character. It's really kind of strange, but I like the storytelling. So, and I think Francesco Francavilla's artwork is really fantastic. I really enjoy it. Black Panther, Man Without Fear, number 518. Then we got X-Men number 11. We just got done with that Lizard story, which kind of felt like an extension of the story they had done in the Spider-Man book.
Right.
And now we're back to vampires, which is why I started reading this book in the first place. I like vampires. I mean, I'm not into all the Twilight and all that nonsense, clearly, but I got no problem with a little vampire story, and that's what they're going back to here. So that should be kind of cool. And the cover looks good.
Nice.
Then we got New Avengers. It does not have a Fear Itself banner on it, but it does have Red Skull, and I'm wondering if this is
awesome looking Red Skull.
This cover looks fantastic, and I'm wondering if this is going back in time there.
Aren't these flashbacks?
Yeah, so this must be a World War II skull, and it would not be Sin. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Then this is kind of a weird one here, but I couldn't stop myself. I can't save me from myself. And kind of interesting that I just saw on the news what Arnold and Maria are getting a divorce.
Oh.
Just in time for Total Recall number 1.
I think it's because of this book.
I don't at all care about Arnold or Maria, but I do care about Total Recall.
She was pissed that she doesn't have a comic book.
She doesn't deserve one.
Quite frankly.
Kennedy. I don't. Well, you know what? I got fair enough. I guess I like the Kennedys more than I like Arnold. He's teaming up with Stan Lee. But it looks like it kind of picks up from the end of Total Recall, where you've got the Arnold characters with the chick, and he almost loses it on Mars. Then everything's fine, and it's exactly like they said it was going to be at Recall. So I guess now the war rages on, even though they've released all the oxygen into Mars. I don't know. I'm in. That's Total Recall, and I'm a sucker for that nonsense. Then I slipped it into the middle because I'm not just going to pound it at you constantly, because you should be reading it anyway. If you're not, it's your fault. It's not mine. Fantastic Four number 3.
FF.
Oh, FF. Oh, because Andrew Eli is going to... But he was wrong. Andrew, you were wrong then and you're wrong now. You can call it the Future Foundation all you want. That's fine. Whatever. FF number 3, bite me. So, we now find out what Valerie was talking about, or Doom, rather. Well, oh no. She's... Give me my memory back so I can fight you, Reed. All right, okay. And then they go back to some things that have gone on. When it comes down to this book, really, it's just one giant epic story. He does a very good job of serializing it into 22 pages a month. But he's a high concept guy, and there's a big story going on here, and it's been going on since day one, since his Secret Invasion one that he did with the Fantastic Four. So, yeah, just a great, awesome, fun book, and it was a good time this month. I rather enjoyed that. Then we got Breed 3 number 1.
More throwback time.
More throwback. We've been loving the throwbacks. The 90s all over again. I'm gonna roll up my pants in a minute. Not really gonna do that. All right, we got Breed 3 number 1 by Jim Starlin, who is he was a guest to the Detroit Fan Fair last year. Was really one of our cooler guests. Everyone had a great time with Jim. He did that big long panel, and so I was excited to see him back, and he brought Breed back, which was with Malibu, correct? Their Bravura line, I believe. It's kind of looks like it's got a little bit of his, what was that thing that he was doing for a long time with Epic?
Oh, Dreadstar.
Dreadstar. So it's got like the anthropomorphic space characters and stuff. Looks kind of cool.
I think it's interesting that Bravura was basically kind of Malibu's replacement for Image, because Image started off with Malibu. And now Breed, which was a Bravura title, is with Image.
That is kind of interesting. And yeah, that was Malibu's creator-owned line.
Yeah.
When all of that creator-owned stuff kind of started back in the 90s, before it was what it is now, and everybody's been accepted and it's cool.
Speaking of 90s creator-owned.
90s creator-owned, we got Next Men. Can one chick save Lincoln? Can Antonia, who's back in time and a slave, and can she save Lincoln from assassination? Should be interesting.
Don't mess with
Kind of
history.
fun.
Time travel screws you up every time.
It screws you up every time unless that's the way it was always supposed to be. That's the problem. That's where time travel gets tricky.
Yeah. It's
If
the
it-
Bill
Michael-
and Ted paradox.
Michael Diskin, if it happened, it happened. Our next issue, The Unwritten. Have you been liking The
Oh,
Unwritten?
I love Unwritten.
Great book.
It's the most literate book on the stands.
Absolutely. So we got Unwritten number 25. There in the last issue, they kind of really started to unravel their story a little bit and kind of tell you where things are going. So I'm really looking forward to this issue. I think it'll be a good time. Then my last one before we lay it on you, Green Lake. I really liked the first one. I thought it was a pretty good book. As I said then, it reminded me of Risk Cutter's A Love Story. Only in it's something happens and then you end up in this other weird place. But there are frogs, and so I don't know, maybe it's like Risk Cutter's A Love Story and Magnolia wrapped into one. I don't know.
That's an odd blend of movies.
Only because frogs falling from the sky in Magnolia, which I rather enjoyed. But yeah, there's a mutant frog? Oh man, I'm not going to ruin my fun. Or yours. But Green Lake looks like a great time. And then we'll hold that last one off. What are you looking at here, Mike?
Well, I'm going to start off here with some creator-owned. It's the second printing of Non-Player number 1. This got a
Okay.
lot of buzz. It's sold out everywhere. It's one of those image books that came out, had a small print run. The artwork is absolutely spectacular in this book. Never heard of this guy before, Nate Simpson.
Me
But
neither.
beautiful, beautiful artwork. I've been getting a lot of buzz. I don't really know what the story's about. Non-player certainly has a gaming reference to it.
Right.
I'm assuming it has something to do with that. But with all the buzz around this book and this beautiful artwork, I figured I had to give it a shot. That's why I'm mentioning it first. Next up on a similar vein is Moriarty number 1 from Image Comics.
That sounds interesting.
This is another one, an image book, low print run, creator-owned stuff, some really cool artwork. Moriarty, Sherlock Holmes' nemesis.
What if Moriarty beats Sherlock Holmes?
I like Sherlock Holmes quite a bit. I figure this would be kind of an interesting place to give a shot to his nemesis. And again, it's an image number 1, so I can flip it on eBay for $30 in a week. I
don't know. As soon as Rich Johnston tells everybody how popular
Yeah.
it is.
Next up, continuing that trend, is Chew. Again, Chew, we've mentioned many times. It's a great book. It looks like there's a frog on the cover of this too,
Hey,
so it's
frogs.
Frog Week. And there's also a preview of Graveyard of Empires, another image book.
Which means it's probably going to take off because then everyone wants to know what that. Everybody's
Yep.
watching these image books only because the print runs are low. Well, the key is whether or not it's good.
Yeah.
The print run for Chew was low, and the reason that book has gone up the way it has because the book is good.
Yeah. I mean, people flock to the book. People flock to Non-Player. We don't know if they're going to stay. They stuck with Morning Glories. Looks like they're sticking with Butcher Baker.
Yep. They're
Definitely
not
stuck
sticking with Skull
Sugar.
Kickers.
But with some of them. So yeah, if you're looking to buy these things just for money, it's not going to pay off in the long run. Next up is Hellboy Being Human. It's Mike Mignola and Richard Corbin. I believe this is a one-shot.
Yeah.
If you love Hellboy, give it a shot. What more can you say?
Yeah, exactly. It's a new Hellboy issue. What are you going to do?
Next up is Journey into Mystery, number 623. This is a Fear Itself tie-in. I had skipped this initially, but then after your glowing review last time and hearing a lot of good stuff
It was
about
good.
it, it was really tight. Loki was my favorite part of the Thor movie, and young Loki in this book has been pretty solid overall. Gillen's doing some great writing between
Really?
this and Uncanny X-Men. I'm not a big fan of the shot from pencils style that Braithwaite's been doing these days, but overall it's still pretty solid, so I'm gonna give it a shot. I was not gonna get any of the Fear Itself spin-off stuff. I tried Spider-Man, I did not really care for that. Homefront kind of crapped out after one issue, so I decided to swear off Fear Itself unless it was a book I was already trying, and this is kind of Journey into Mystery is kind of Thor.
Right.
But I broke my word right away with Fear Itself, Youth, and Revolt, entirely because it's Sean McKeever and Mike Norton. They're great guys. I love Norton's artwork. He's no longer DC exclusive, so he's back to Marvel, working on Gravity with Sean McKeever, the guys who created it. So got to give this a shot.
Right on.
Next up is Batman Incorporated number 6. This is the final issue of this leading story arc, Grant Morrison and Chris Burnham. They're doing some great international Batman stuff. It's got a great cover here.
It is a cool cover.
And, you know,
I think it's what, is it right down there?
I've been singing the praise. Actually, the one that we've got here is a different cover. This one.
Oh,
this is
man.
a little different.
Look, it looks totally different.
But
I'm all confused.
It's a great cover no matter what, even if it's not the one that you're seeing now. But overall, I've been digging Batman Incorporated a lot. I like Grant Morrison's take on Batman. Different take on Batman is Batman Arkham City number 1. This is based on the Arkham City, or a tie-in at least, to the Arkham City game, which is a sequel to the Arkham Asylum game.
Yep.
Huge game, incredibly popular game. I haven't tried it myself. The interesting thing about this, though, is not just the game tie-in, but this was written by Paul Dini. And I think there's probably very few people who have done Batman as well as Paul Dini.
Agreed.
So if you're missing out on Dini's Batman, you can give that a shot. Next up, Amazing Spider-Man 660, continuing Spider-Man in the Fantastic Four or Future Foundation or First Family or whatever.
Convenient that there are 4 of them still.
But
anyway,
this has been sort of tying in, showing the a little bit more of the Spider-Man side of things in some of these stories, and overall, Slott's been doing a great job. Next up is Incredible Hulks. The last issue of this was pretty good. It keeps going back and forth.
Isn't he? He's like Ross and Rachel with this book. He's killing me.
One of these days I'll drop it, but not yet. But overall, it's been pretty good. So, what's your top pick?
Well, should you do your top pick first?
I'll do my top pick first because mine is
Flash. Feeds into
Flash number 12. This is the last of the Road to Flashpoints. Also the last issue of this series. This book has had a shaky time. It's had a lot of scheduling problems, but and they have canceled the book. They haven't announced what the replacement is going to be. They're going to relaunch it with a new number 1, I'm sure, after Flashpoint. But this is the lead-in. This is the build-up to this DC's big event this year. It's by Jeff Johns and Scott Collins. If you've been reading the book, they've got the Barry Allen from an alternate timeline. Professor Zoom's in there. Basically, this is where everything sort of twists and leads into
my top pick of the week, Flashpoint number 1. Yeah, pretty much picks off from there. Things are going on, and it's very heavy with the story of everything that's happened to Barry and where he's going to get. You know, they had the intervention in the last issue. You know, why don't you want to be around Bart? What's going on? Barry just has a lot of things going on, and he's realizing that while he's back, everything that he's ever known is only happening right now. Like his whole career and whole life, it's because of the things that are going on right now that went back in time and screwed everything up for him. So when suddenly the bolt of lightning hits and Flashpoint happens, Barry seems to be the only one who doesn't know everything has changed. And it's pretty interesting. I liked this issue because they're doing a lot to introduce all of these characters that are probably going to get their own title, you know, from all the 7 or 8 titles they were going to reintroduce after they canceled Secret 6 and all that, made it Secret 7. So some of that's in here. It's interesting, and all these characters are suddenly different in some ways. And there's a nice twist at the end, which, as I was saying earlier, is going to resonate with probably some other people a little bit more than it resonated with me. But I knew it was big, and I was like, wow, okay, that's kind of neat, kind of cool.
Some great artwork by Andy Kubert.
Absolutely.
I've been missing him for a while.
Andy Kubert always does. And I always love these splash pages he does, too, with all the characters.
Different takes. This is kind of DC's Age of Apocalypse, but I think from what I've been hearing, this will have a few more actual, real, permanent ramifications.
Well, and also, like, all the way they always do these big summer blockbusters, it always, in some ways, is just the same thing that they always do with the time stream and the different dimensions and all that. So it works. It works with what they're doing. But so that's your Flashpoint, the big book of this week, and that, I believe, is your Weekend Geek.